This Avalanche safety report is brought to you by Mountain TV. Watch Mountain TV anywhere with our free Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV apps. Learn more at mtn-tv.com.
Here with Coop today, and we are going to jump right in with all things Avalanche report.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for having us again this week. So we have some high pressure moving in here over the next couple of days. This ridge that's really extending across the Rocky Mountains. It's going to bring clear skies to the area and pretty mellow conditions, reduced wind speeds, warmer temperatures coming into the weekend here. So the avalanche danger coming into the weekend in a lot of places is flirting with low danger, especially in the deeper western areas. It looks like we'll be moderate coming into the weekend, but trending down towards low in quite a few spots, especially in the western, deeper snowpack areas, which are these places highlighted here in blue. So the Park Range, the Flat Tops, Grand Mesa, the West Elks, and areas around Wolf Creek Pass. A lot of those places are pushing 8 to 10 feet of total snowpack for the season. So it's pretty deep in those areas. And the snowpack is getting stronger. The main things to think about coming into the weekend with all this deep snow and good coverage in those areas are avalanches in the top part of the snowpack, usually the top 1 to 3 feet of the snowpack. And so in this image here, you can see there's about 3 feet of recent snow in the last week in a lot of those western areas. And unfortunately, this new snow, this slab, sits on this weak, soft snow that's buried about 3 feet deep. It can be buried on its own. It can be buried around a crust, but people are triggering avalanches that break at the bottom of that new snow interface at this persistent weak layer. So in the more central areas, they're a little bit drier. The snowpack's not quite as deep. We're looking at a snowpack of maybe 3 to 4 feet in most of these areas. You can see the avalanche activity is really concentrated in that band there through the middle along the less deep areas, but we're not seeing as many large avalanches either. The snowpack's pretty thin in these spots. You can see a lot of rocks sticking out in these thin areas. And unfortunately, in these thinner snowpack spots, you can affect this deep weak layer that was buried early in the season around October. And you can trigger really large, dangerous avalanches, especially if you find a thin spot in the snowpack where you can affect these deeper weak layers. So in this kind of middle area here, you can trigger avalanches that break at the ground. These can be harder to trigger, but if you do trigger one, they're going to be really dangerous and possibly deadly. Here in the southwest, in the San Juan Mountains, again, they've received quite a bit of snow here over the last week in that southwest corner. Most of the avalanches that are breaking in the surface snow. They're breaking either as wind slabs or storm slabs. They're not quite as big, and we're not seeing as many avalanches. So just being careful in the thinner snowpack areas to know what's below you and what happens if you trigger a big avalanche is really important. And in the deeper snowpack areas, really concentrating on what's going on in the surface snow. Do you see signs of wind drifting? And just avoiding those areas if you see them. Towards the end of the weekend, coming into early next week, the models are differing a little bit, but they're all showing some low pressure systems moving across the area. You can see this deep closed low over Southern California moving towards us. That'll bring us some snowstorms coming early into next week, but nothing really looks like really massive snow. Expect a moderate avalanche danger going into the weekend and early into next week in most of these spots, with these deeper areas here in the west and around Wolf Creek Pass trending down towards low pretty quickly as soon as the snow stops. If we get another storm on top of this, these layers that we're forming right now, we'll see another increase in the avalanche danger. So really just expect anytime that we see snowfall or big wind events to see an increase in avalanche danger, and then it'll trend off pretty quickly in most of these areas.
Now, Coop, basically a big takeaway from this is just because it's getting warmer outside doesn't exactly mean that you're out of danger, correct?
Yeah, that's really important. It's very important not to get complacent on these nice sunny blue sky, clear days, and think because the weather's nice, you can do whatever you want. So remember that there still is quite a bit of avalanche danger across most of the state. You have to take your time, check the snowpack carefully and think about where you're going. And you can always stick to slopes with a slope angle less than 30 degrees with no steeper terrain above you and have a really safe day without really thinking about these avalanche concerns.
Well, thank you so much, Coop, for coming in here today and keeping us safe and letting us know all things that we need to know out there on the mountain and giving us this avalanche report. We so appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully everybody will check colorado.gov/avalanche before they go out into the backcountry, and we'll see you next week.
Now, don't forget, you can always stay up to date with the latest forecast at colorado.gov/avalanche. Enjoy the backcountry, folks, and be safe.